The Gospel of Jesus Christ according to St. John. John chapter 15 verses 18 to 21. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "If the world hates you, realize that it hated me first. If you belonged to the world would love its own. But because you do not belong to the world, and I have chosen you out of the world hates you. Remember the word I spoke to you. No servant is greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they kept my word, they will also keep yours. And they will do all these things to you on account of my name, because they do not know the one who sent me. Because you do not belong to the world, a gentle whisper in the midst of inner storms. There are days when we feel like small leaves drifting along the turbulent currents of life. Winds of injustice, dismissive looks, harsh words, all seem to push us toward an unfamiliar place where there is no refuge, no peace. If you've ever felt misunderstood simply for trying to live rightly, if you've ever been mocked for your faith, if you've ever felt lost even among your family, workplace, or community, then the words of Jesus in today's Gospel according to St. John are for you. If the world hates you, know that it hated me first. Jesus does not promise us an easy path. He doesn't sugarcoat faith with ideal conditions. He speaks honestly and directly, but also with the loving heart of a teacher, a father, a closest friend. I know you are suffering, but I have walked this path before you. 1. Being hated doesn't mean you're wrong. In today's society, when you live with integrity, you may be considered foolish. When you love, you may be taken advantage of. When you choose honesty, you may be seen as weak. But Jesus says, if the world hates you, remember it hated me first. Imagine one day walking on a narrow path while everyone else around you chooses the broad road, filled with laughter and celebration. They look at you, point fingers, mock, even condemn you. But you keep walking, because you know your destination is light and life. The story of Saint Maximilian Kolbe is a moving example. In the Nazi concentration camp of Auschwitz, a prisoner was condemned to die by starvation as punishment. Father Kolbe, a priest, volunteered to take his place, a man who had a wife and children. In the darkness of the cell, amidst hunger and agony, Father Kolbe prayed and sang hymns until his last breath. His sacrifice was not celebrated by the world at the time. But before God, it was a brilliant light in the deepest darkness. 2. Not of this world, a mission, not a sentence. Jesus said, if you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. But you do not belong to the world, and I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Not belonging to the world doesn't mean separating from, judging, or avoiding people. It means you are called to live by a higher standard, one of love, truth, and compassion. You live in the world, but are not swept away by its current of lies, selfishness, or violence. Once, a man asked the Dalai Lama, "How can I remain at peace in a world full of anger?" He replied, Be the cool water in a storm of fire. The storm will pass, but the water will continue to give life. Likewise, when you are rejected, don't immediately assume you're wrong. It may simply be because you are different. And that difference comes from the light of the one who has chosen you. 3. A servant is not greater than the master. We are not alone. Jesus reminds us. Remember what I told you. No servant is greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. These words sound firm, but they are also a tender reassurance. Because Jesus doesn't leave us to face suffering alone. He walked ahead of us, bore the pain, endured mockery, was abandoned and crucified. He knows every wound in your heart. The story of little Agnes Ganga Boyajiu, later known as Mother Teresa of Calcutta, is a powerful witness to this truth. She immersed herself among the poorest of the poor in India, caring for the dying whom no one else would touch. Many mocked her as hypocritical, outdated, useless. She said nothing, she loved, she prayed. And she changed the world, not with power, but with small hands and a heart on fire with love. 4. They will do all these things to you because of my name. Being a disciple of Jesus is not a worldly title of honor, but a mark, a mission, a presence that brings light into darkness. To bear his name is not only to call oneself a Christian, but to live as he lived, gently, humbly, forgiving, and loving to the end. Maybe you are a single mother struggling to raise your child amid harsh judgment. Maybe you are a young person trying to stay pure in a world full of temptation. Maybe you are an elderly person living quietly in the neglect of your loved ones. But if you live each day with a sincere heart, if you still choose love, still choose forgiveness, still believe that light is stronger than darkness, then you are bearing the name of the Lord. And He knows you. He sees every tear you cry in silence. He hears the prayers you cannot speak, but lift up in your heart. He walks with you, step by step. 5. Sowing in darkness. Trust that the harvest will come. There's a poem by an anonymous author, like a gentle whisper from God to the weary heart. My child, don't be afraid when the world casts you aside. For light does not belong to the darkness. You were not called to blend in, but to shine, even if only as a single candle in the night. Remember, whatever has true value always requires sacrifice. True love is never easy, and genuine faith always passes through trials. If you are going through a time of rejection, misunderstanding, or opposition, do not despair. Remember, a seed only sprouts when buried deep in the soil. That dark place is the beginning of new life. Conclusion: remain in Him, and you will stand firm. Jesus does not sugarcoat the truth, but neither does He leave you alone to face it. He invites you to remain in Him, so that you may find strength, peace, and light for your journey. You may not belong to this world, and that is hard. But you belong to the Lord, and that is enough to sustain you, to heal you, and to let you live in a love that never fades. Listen again to His words, not as a sentence, but as a lover's whisper. If the world hates you, know that it hated me first. But I have chosen you out of the world. You are chosen. You are loved. You are accompanied. And you are never alone. Remain. Be steadfast. Believe.